My name's Charlene. Charlene Robert. I'm a coach and a hypnotherapist, and I run a company called the Empowered Mind, where we focus on coaching for your mindset and manifestation and hypnosis to change your life. So you might be struggling with sleeping, losing weight, or empowering to get those dreams. So welcome to the Online Prosperity podcast, and I'll hand you up.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show. I'm your host, Prosper Taruvinga, and today we have a guest whose journey is all about turning challenges into triumphs. Now, Charlene, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great today. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. But before we get really excited about what we're about to embark on, there's something that you wanted to tell our audience.
I'm telling them that, well, today my name is Charlene and I come from the Empowered Mind, and I focus on coaching, actually manifestation, and also hypnosis as a hypnotherapist as well. So I do focus, and it's more about empowering your life and with using your mind and energy as well. So this is where I come from. This is my passion in life, is to change your life.
Absolutely. And there's a bit of legalese that you need to just let those that get trigger happy, to not want to jump the gun, so to speak, when it comes to things that are said, on shows like this. Is there a disclaimer that you wanted to let our audience know before we get into it?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much for letting me speak. I would say that I'm not a nurse. I am a nurse, but I'm not a doctor. And hypnosis shouldn't actually be done when you're driving, and it's to be done sitting down, preferably, or even laying down. And it is, especially with pain management with hypnosis, you do need a medical certificate before seeing a hypnotherapist. And yeah, this is more mind and energy work. So yeah, definitely, as not a doctor, this is just more guidance as well, but also empowering for you. And it's totally up to you to make that decision.
Fantastic. Now that we've got the legalese out of the way, let the fun begin. Now, for those that are watching right now, thank you so much for tuning into the Online Prosperity Show. Like we always do, bring you the best in the business. Now, Charlene, who is our next guest today, is not just your average mindset coach. She's a transformation powerhouse with a background that spans from the fast-paced world of emergency nursing to becoming a guiding light in personal growth and resilience. She's been inspired by the likes of Dr. Joe Dispenza, Bob Proctor, and Charlene now helps people to break through their own mental and emotional barriers. And she's tapping into their true potential with her own unique blend of coaching and hypnosis. And you're going to be in for a treat, because Charlene, not only does she do what she does, but she's also taken to the skies. There you go. Here's a fun fact. She once took to the skies, flying a plane during her time with the Royal Australian Air Force. So buckle up, because I think this conversation is going to soar, and it's going to be an exciting one. Now, Charlene, first of all, thank you for your service. Tell us a little bit about your journey so far, and what you've been up to.
Okay, thank you so much. I started my journey many years ago, actually, when I left a DV marriage. That's where it really did start. And I actually had a year with a counsellor doing CBT therapy, and 2 years with a counsellor as well. So I went through, and I did actually suffer depression. So I've actually overcome that. I had PTSD and constant nightmares. So that was my beginning. So after I'd gone through the counsellor and everything else, had gone through my marriage, went into another relationship that wasn't the best. After that, I made a vow to myself to improve. And that's when I started my personal development. And I've been doing this for my inner work for 7 years. And that's where it's been going constantly since then. And that was where the little seed was planted. And then as I've been nursing for over 30 years and only just recently stopped. And it was in the middle of COVID that I remember thinking that there's going to be people that need me after COVID, and it wasn't nursing. And that's where I got the inspiration to do what I do now, is just to empower people, because I've come from where I was to where I am now. And I believe everybody has that power to do that, and they can do it. It's just working through what we work through. Yeah, so
Mm.
that's part of my journey, is just to empower people and let them soar. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, Selena, I really appreciate you taking us to those depths of your story. But you would appreciate, right, that a lot of people, if they would have been in your shoes, they would have been in fetal position. Woe is me. I need to heal. Don't worry about everybody else. What made you want to then go out and, you know, be the one that helps others?
Okay. I would say after I'd lost my mum, which was after I'd gone through a divorce, was going through the divorce and everything, I had met a friend that was from Ireland, and he bought a book called The Secret. But I didn't even look at it, which I think was quite funny. Now I look at it, it was obviously a sign. And I did hear about life coaching at the time, and my first instinct was I wasn't good enough to do it. So obviously it had come up in my mind as well. So that was way back in the beginning when I'd started after my divorce. So it just took that journey a little bit longer. And it was literally, I would say it was COVID, literally in the middle of COVID, where I felt I'd always wanted to do nursing through a pandemic. Ironically, it came to everybody. And so I'd felt like I'd done my medical, what all I could do in medical anymore. So my instinct was to coach and just give more and give people from my experience how I could help them and guide them and just lift them up and guide them to a better, for their dreams to come true and overcome all these obstacles that you feel like are insurmountable when they're really within you to overcome. And we can do it when we really, do that work and understand how the mind and the energy works. It's just so empowering.
Mm. You see, from what you're saying, Charlene, opportunity usually gets ignored just because it comes dressed in overalls. And in this
Yeah.
case, yours was the book, The Secret. Okay.
Yes.
So many people might have things around them that could literally take them out of the situation they're in, but maybe they may not be able to see it because fish do not see the water that they swim in. Is this something that you see with a lot of people, or was this just a Charlene blind moment for not seeing this book and it just looked like work?
I feel at the time I was actually in a lot of grief because I just lost my mum. So that was probably a lot to do with it. And I hadn't worked through everything that my limited beliefs. I hadn't worked through any of those as well. So that was a big part of it. So if we've got those limiting beliefs, that can actually be like a blinder as well, very much. And if you're emotionally going through stress and trauma as well, that can pile on top of it. So yeah, that's very much what I was experiencing, but I had this goal that I would always get out. And mine was, unfortunately, I'd gone through an event when I left. And this event, I don't want to share too much of it because it still sets me a little bit. But yeah, it just made me more inspired to have a normal life. That was my goal. And now that I've got the normal life, I still want more. And it's like honoring that promise that I made. So that's what inspired me to keep going. And that's what still inspires me now.
Absolutely love this. Now, from what you're saying, Charlene, blinkers and blinders only work
Mhm.
if you're a horse on the Melbourne Cup. But for the rest of us, you literally need to open up and see what's around you and things of that nature because you were in grief. Help was nearby, and yet you didn't choose to opt in for that and things of that nature. Would that be a true sentiment to what you went through?
Would be a true sentiment. Yeah. I mean, I feel I was lucky before I lost my mother that she did say something to me that was very empowering, and that stayed with me. So, I mean, for someone to come to coaching or hypnosis, and even for your coach or, your conscious hypnotist to say to you, like, I believe in you, sometimes that can just trigger something, and someone will just, they know they can do it when you have someone who believes in you as well. So that's really empowering as well.
Absolutely, because you literally bore their confidence, knowing that they've probably been through what you're going through, and they know how to maybe get out of those muddy waters, and can do it in a very less painful way. Of which that is what you did, because you went through what you went through, and now you're helping others go out of that, which presents a unique skill set. Because some coaches out there, Charlene, I don't know if you have seen, they maybe go to an event, walk through some calls, and on the way back home, they walk past a computer shop, buy a laptop, and tomorrow morning they call themselves a coach. But you've been through some tough experiences, like obviously you've overcome a challenging divorce and even living a
Mhm.
DV situation. How have these experiences now shaped your approach to helping others?
I feel, and for me, it's actually because you've actually walked in someone's shoes, the feeling. And I do have a client that at the moment, he says that he feels stuck, and I've felt stuck for many years, and I know that feeling. And you feel like you're just in a maze, and that's that. So already knowing that feeling, you know how to guide someone out. And the same as if someone's feeling overwhelmed or they've got these negative, limited beliefs. For me, it was like turning those negative beliefs around, or even limited beliefs around. So I know the feeling, and I know how they can affect you, and even like self-worth and self-love. Like that's a big one. Everybody wants to feel like they're accepted, and that's a very much a main human wanting and emotion. So to understand that, and to be with someone through their journey, as you how can I describe it? As you've just been on that, you've been on the journey yourself, so you do understand them, and you can guide them. I guess holding their hand in some time as a guide, and you're not coming from a textbook, you're coming from life experience.
Absolutely. I quite like that. And you do raise a very important topic there, which is fear. I mean, as human beings, we're societal beings, and we do return back to our caveman days when we feel rejected or dejected or thrown out of the clan. And we were afraid maybe a saber-tooth tiger is going to come, have us for dinner or things like that. How much does fear have a stronghold on a lot of people, especially when they're going through all of these things that you are going through, in order for them to seek some sort of help or change?
For me, I would say fear actually can be paralyzing, because sometimes you can just not move at all. And then fear is the basis of procrastination as well. And self-confidence is the fear of is related to procrastination and fear. So it's all like connected together.
Mm.
So it's
And
really, really powerful. Like when you know the connection, then you can actually work on the basis, or the building foundation, and then you can work on moving forward. But fear can be paralyzing, totally. Having
absolutely.
been there myself, yeah,
Now
yeah.
you sort of introduced us to the friend that gave you the book, and obviously that in and of itself showcases that you have somewhat of a support system around you, because so many people are going through this by themselves. How important is having people around you and also accepting that help?
I would say my friend was someone that was acquaintance, and going through my journey, I didn't have a lot of people around me. So I would say having friends, or even if you don't have family, have friends, or even just to have like a counselor or somebody, just somebody to talk you through. So you've got someone to bounce off or a coach to bounce off you. It's so important because going through it on your own is very, as much for me, I felt like I didn't have a choice because I didn't have anybody there. It can build walls like in yourself because then you don't want to trust people. So having people there is so important and it's vital. I mean, I may have got through mine a lot quicker if I had that support, but I don't begrudge it. But that's another reason I do what I do because I want to be there for people because I didn't have it for myself. Yeah.
Mm. Now, Charlene, while some of us were busy, you know, what do they call it? Socially distancing and coughing into our elbows. You were out there signing up for an ABN and everything else that comes along with starting a business. What was it like at that time to get started?
It was very, I wasn't sure. I must admit I was a little unsure, but I still felt like this is what I wanted to do. Like it was no doubt. And my journey of starting a business a couple of years ago and doing what I do now it's been empowering myself because I learn and grow every day and I have my own obstacles and my own challenges and it just is empowering and growing myself and then seeing my clients and I get setbacks like everybody else as well. But now I've seen setbacks as a learning process, a growing process, and also, how can I become more resilient or how can I, possibly pivot to be there more for my clients? Like it's just a growing process and the growth mindset is so powerful when we take it on. So yeah, that's what I've learned from like just studying that business a couple of years ago and embracing who I am. That's most important is to embrace who you are. And that's part of the acceptance because sometimes we don't embrace who we are because we don't want to accept who we are.
That is obviously whenever you're pointing fingers at somebody, three of them are pointing back at you. So that takes a lot of accountability and everything else that comes along with it. Now, you also dangled, the word growth mindset, which for a lot of people, they find it difficult to come to terms with, but your work has been influenced by some of the greats in this industry, Dr. Joe Dispenza and I think Bob Proctor, from
Yeah.
my understanding. How do their teachings actually play into your coaching style and methods?
I guess for me, Dr. Joe Dispenza was my first because he's actually a chiropractor, was a chiropractor. And because I've got a medical background, I think I connected with him automatically because of that. And at the time when I started reading like long before I started reading his books and understanding more about his work, he talked about energy and how the body has energy. And I was working in a medical center at the time, and my medical brain couldn't comprehend it until I actually did an ECG and remembered that the lines were your energy from your heart. And that's when it clicked. For me, that's how it clicked. So that simple understanding and how he talks about the brain waves, because I did work in neurosurgery once as well in a ward. So I understood the brain. I was always fascinated by the brain but not as in a biological way in that way, but more as human behavior. So when he started talking about the brain and energy, it all interconnected, and the way he talks about healing as well. And he's done work with the universities around the world as well. So because of his medical background, I connected, and on the other, the spiritual science as well. Like it all just connected with me, and I can relate. And a lot of people I talk to actually admire his work as well. So I like to integrate it like with the energy and also understanding meditation as well, like how you go down your different brain patterns from the beta to the theta, like from a high brainwave to a lower. And it's just like then you open up the subconscious, and it's just fascinating. And I guess for me, I can't get enough of that sort of understanding because I need to know more. And this is my passion, is to, the more I know, the more I can help other people as well and guide them so they can have that life. Yeah, that's where it comes from. And Bob Proctor's more, for me, he's more of like the law of money. And I've had money mindset, and I understand mine's ancestral. I understand that now, it's come from parents. And the more I understand it, and that's just totally opened up another door as well. Whereas I never used to be open to that. So now it's like learning more and more. Like I'm like a sponge. I just take everything in. It's like, yeah.
Charlene, I'd like to see you at a barbecue or at a birthday party and see what sort of conversations we you have with people then.
I do have a friend. She has said to me, I'm very deep, like as deep as the deepest ocean.
Gee. Oh, I can only imagine because you see, the rest of us, we only just want to know, what day it is and what am I supposed to be doing. But you're going into the deepest, darkest beats of understanding the brain and how it actually functions and things of that nature. But when clients come to you for maybe hypnosis or mindset coaching, what are the most challenges that they are facing, and what are you doing with them to guide them through this process?
Um, I do have someone who I do personalized programs for people. So when they come to me, it's all personalized. So I actually have a conversation with them, and then we work out if they've got some questions. I get them to send them to me, like what they're dealing, what their main blocks are, or where they are in their life. So one of my clients is actually feeling stuck at the moment, so doesn't know which way to go in his life. Another one is actually post divorce, and he's actually come out and he's actually on the spectrum, which I only just realised because I've known this client for quite a long time. But he started socialising, and I've actually helped him with that. And he's just embracing things a lot more, like being more open, getting more confident. And I'd say probably the 4 months since I've been working with him, he's totally changed, like in that way. And yeah, I can see him feeling more empowered, and even in the way he talks, he is. And yeah, so there's some of the people that I've actually worked with. But for someone who's gone from a divorce and now they're out socializing, who they'd never think he would never thought that he would do that. So yeah, it just feels, yeah, just to see people grow and smile. I mean, for me, it's just a smile. Like that's amazing. Yeah.
Do you ever maybe just start talking to somebody and then you can literally tell where they stand in life and maybe what could be going on with them? Because I've got a friend who's a doctor, and everywhere we're going, if we're in a shopping center just having a coffee, if he hears somebody coughing, he'll be like, "Ooh, that's yeah." That doesn't, and I'm like, "Oh, excuse me, are you working or are you having a coffee with me?" So
Actually, yes, I do. I actually I had something happen today with someone, and my mind literally was like, oh, I wonder if this came from that or this came from that. And I did end up asking them, and then we actually had a conversation, and it was very eye opening as well. But it was also really interesting to see their perspective as well as my perspective. But yeah, I literally still, on my subconscious level, I do actually do that. So yeah,
oh, absolutely. And I know you've helped so many people and maybe, sort of transform their lives, which now gives you the confidence in working with them. But have you ever come across a case that you couldn't solve? And obviously, I mean, obviously things like that happen within any other industries. There's something that you couldn't tackle, maybe energetically, spiritually, or that was just something that you couldn't handle.
I have come across one client that was, I guess it didn't progress any further. And sometimes I feel that sometimes it's rapport. Sometimes, because you need rapport with your coach or your hypnotist as well. So when you're doing hypnosis, you need that rapport. So sometimes people aren't a good match either. So that's how I think it. Or sometimes they're just not ready at that time. So it could be lots of different reasons. So sometimes it's best to let someone go, and if they do need you, then they can come back. Like I never close the door. It's always open. So that's
Mm.
what I feel. And sometimes you just don't have rapport with everybody, and that's pretty normal as well. So yeah.
Absolutely. And speaking of rapport with everybody, you've really started to expand your content production. I've seen a couple of your work on YouTube. Congratulations. And
Thank you.
obviously, you're now obviously reaching a wider audience and things of that nature. So you creating content for your YouTube channel, what actually pushed you to start this, and how is it actually worked out for you?
Okay. I would say coming back to my mother, obviously she was a very big influence in my life. When I was growing up, she started cake decorating. She taught herself to cake decorate. So when I started making my content, I have the mindset if she could do it, I could do it. So, and I found this creative side of me that I never knew I had. And I love making all my videos and putting my hypnosis into them, and meditation I'm really passionate about, and music as well. I love music, and I feel this is my service as well to people, and then it's there for them all the time. And this is what's inspired me to start my YouTube channel. And I feel that way I can reach more people. And some people may not be able to afford a hypnotist or a coach. So at least they've got that content there for them as well. So it's always there. And yeah,
Mhm.
doing my own content, it's just like, I don't know, it just fulfills my creative side, and I love it. It's just for someone who's come from a medical background, it feels like I'm a bird outside of a cage, to be honest. It's like I feel so free. Yeah.
Fantastic. And not only are you doing this, but you actually offer some incredible programs within your business. I think you've got a 5 week hypnosis program. Do you just put people on hypnosis for 5 weeks and then you come back and then maybe wake them up, or
It's not quite like that, no.
oh, well, you tell us then how it works.
Okay, so if someone is interested in hypnosis, then I would go on a we'd go on a call together. I would send them out like an intake form, and therefore I know what they're where they're at, so we can actually work on the hypnosis with them. And then they come in for an introduction, and go through the first half hour where it's about getting to know where they're at, and I explain the hypnosis and how it works, and then you actually do the hypnosis. Sometimes it's half an hour, sometimes it's an hour. If it's a sleep one, it can be done in person and online as well. So if it's a sleep hypnosis, you actually make sure they're comfortable, they're in a comfortable chair, so they're not going to fall off the chair, obviously. Yeah, it's very important. And then obviously when they're doing online, it's also, if they do lose contact, then you can actually say something as well to say, well, you can wake yourself up as well. So that's part of it as well. But if they're in person, obviously it's done in an office, and I do group as well, a couple, about 5 people as well. So yeah, you would go through the first day, and then by about 3 to 5 sessions, you can generally see a change. That's how the mind works. And each session you do like a feedback in the first half hour, and then you do the next hypnosis session. So yeah, that's how it generally works. It's quite, having been hypnotized myself, it feels really relaxing. You don't actually feel like you're being hypnotized. It just feels relaxing. And when you come out of it, it can take about 30 seconds to a minute to come out of it because you're in such a deep state. But that's quite normal. So, yeah. And I've had a client who experienced pain after an operation, and it took him about 30 seconds to a minute to come out. So, yeah, it was,
Wow. And you
yeah.
also have a 12-week coaching journey. What can somebody expect when they sign up for this?
So, with the 12-week coaching journey, they can expect a personalized program, and then we can work through like smart goals, and there's something called the wheel of life where we actually go over so we can clarify where they are at, so they actually see it as, some people are visual, some people are audio, and some of them are, they hear things, or very kinesthetic as in touching things. So having that visual wheel, they can see where they're at, and it's really empowering because all these segments are all connected. There's 8 segments. And then so we start with that, and then we build on that. And with the personalized program, like they might get a 2 week diary where they can actually, it's a journal of such where you say, whatever you're thinking, and then follow through on those thoughts, where those thoughts comes from. And that can be really empowering as well, where where your beliefs come from. and you can literally swap them overnight. So that's really empowering as well. So yeah, it's very much personalized for people.
Absolutely. Now, where can people get a hold of this information?
They can jump onto my website. Is I do have a website, www.charlenerobinmindset.com, and also on YouTube. I do have my YouTube channel. They can message me on there, and I'm on LinkedIn as well and Pinterest. So I think it's at Charlene Robin Mindset on Pinterest, and on LinkedIn it's Charlene Fuller. So yeah.
Absolutely. See, I will make sure that all these links are in the show notes below. Now, Charlene, I'm a little bit intrigued. When you were in the Royal Air Force, did you have a call sign for when you were flying your plane? What were they calling you?
I guess I wasn't actually flying. I was a nurse in there, but I had flown privately, did flying lessons, so I had flown a plane. So yeah, it's flying's always been a passion of mine since I was a little kid. And I'm one of these people, I'm an aviation geek. I love going out to the airport and watching the planes and being on the plane. So I'm very much, it just feels free, I guess. You feel free when you're up in the sky. And I used to watch the planes like in the Air Force, like when I was in there, you'd see the planes taking off. And I actually like, this is going to sound quite funny. I actually really like fast jets, and I'm really like and I love vintage things, but I love fast jets. So fast cars don't interest me, fast jets do. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I can only imagine. But if you were to have a call sign, what would you want it to be, Charlene?
What would I want it to be? I would say a unicorn that can fly, basically. Something totally out there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Ground control to flying unicorn. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, how do these flying interests now influence your approach to coaching and personal development? Because from what you're saying, you're literally doing what you absolutely love, and not a lot of people have an opportunity to do that.
How it's influenced me. I when I joined the Air Force, it was like something I'd always wanted to do. So I feel having that determination, which a lot of people, especially with what we're going through, a lot of people going through at the moment, and with what's happening over the world, it can be quite, people are facing obstacles, and there's so much happening in the world with natural things as well. And people can feel like they're totally being knocked down and they've got to start rebuilding again. And that can feel overwhelming. And I feel for me, like having been through my story, like I guess I've rebuilt my life a couple of times, or even a big one once. And thinking of it like the plane, I guess it's like you are starting off like on training wheels when you're learning to fly, like I did. And even though I didn't get my license, but I still managed to land a plane. So, and that was something I never thought I could do. And when you do something that you never think you can do, that's really empowering. And for the people out there that are going through something at the moment, and especially the people in America, like I feel for them at the America, going through that hurricane that's coming at the moment. Like I really, my heart goes out to them, and I hope that they're all going to be safe and everything. And they're just looking after, themselves and their pets and the animals as well. Like never forget your pets. I mean, I'm very much an animal person. So yeah, so just to maybe like if someone says to you like they'll get through it, it's not as easy as that. It's just working through it day by day, sometimes hour by hour or minute by minute. So that's what it can take sometimes. It's not just, someone says, here you go, here's some money and that'll fix it. It doesn't work like that. So yeah, that's what I found.
Absolutely. See, what I really like about all of this is your lived experience and also backing yourself up in every step of the way. To start off, flying a plane is not easy. Whatever you went through in life, in your experience, that is not easy as well. But you've gone on and reinvented yourself, and now you're helping others be, do, and have a happier existence. I mean, you've gone through your own transformations, from doubts about your own coaching, even, you know what I
Mm.
mean? You had doubts about that to actually starting to run your own business. Now, you've got a book waiting to be written right there, and nobody's going to say you didn't go through this because they can't take that away from you. How has all this personal growth now impacted the way that you serve your clients?
For me, it's the way the personal growth has impacted my clients, how I serve them, is through empathy, compassion, understanding, and just listening to them. Like that's really important, is just listening, because sometimes I feel there's not enough of that going around because we're all so busy. People don't listen as well. And just being able to listen and guide and being there with them every step of the way. Like I'm not telling them what to do. I'm just being there beside them and walking every step with them. And I feel that's really important to do for my clients. And they've got that personalized, yeah, just being there personally with them and the personalized care, I guess. Yeah, that's what it feels like. And that's what I'd like to give to my clients. Yeah.
You see, you've presented to us somebody who's fully transformed. I mean, from the person you presented to us, Charlene, the young woman that wouldn't open a book to save her own life. But now it looks like you can't get enough of the education and information that you're devouring. And I don't know how many birthday parties you get invited to these days, or people would just be like, nah, I think she'll be all right. We'll catch her on the next one, things of that nature. If you could go back and maybe give advice to your younger self that couldn't see that book, and who knows what else you couldn't see, particularly when you were just getting started on this path, what would you say to that young girl?
Oh, that's a good one. I would say, even long before I saw that book, I would say to her, you've got this incredible talent inside of yourself and power that you don't know you've got, and just to believe in yourself, because, and to love yourself, most importantly, love yourself and have that confidence, because you've got that confidence.
Because you are a flying unicorn.
Yes.
Wow. How beautiful is that? And obviously, we've got people that are watching this, Charlene, that are rolling their eyes so back. They could even see the breakfast that they had this morning, thinking, it's not about that. I think there's an Aussie saying, she'll be all right, and things like that. And they're quite hesitant to explore maybe hypnosis or even mindset coaching. What would you say to help them understand its value?
For me, I would say, and for them to understand the value, it's where you are now. It's like, do you want to be there in 2 years? Do you want to be there in 5 years? And if you don't do something now, how would it feel in those couple of years? And if you do something now, how would it feel as well? Like growing and the growth mindset, and my journey has not been linear. It's always backwards and forwards. You have setbacks. And I understand now, like for those people that thinking that, yeah, she did this and look where you are now, it's not been a journey of, it's not overnight. It's a journey. And for me, it's like personal development is a lifelong thing as well. It's not just it's over and done with. So I put that into myself as well. And even my client said that to me. He's gone, I realize personal development, I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. No, yep. It's like, so that was his own, awareness. So when we understand that awareness, like even for them to see the awareness inside them, that's a big step in itself. Like that's just a major step. And that's empowering and that's something to celebrate. So if someone wakes up and thinks, well, look what she did and it's not, she makes it look easy, but no, it's not. It's a journey, but it's having the courage that we all have inside of us to do it. And yeah, some of us, it's ready when people are ready. It's up to them when they're ready. There's no set time.
I like that. I like that. Now, I mean, obviously, and as much as I'd love to keep having a chat with you, I don't know, maybe you've hypnotized me to just keep going. I don't know. You did talk
I
about
can do
growth
that if you
and
want.
yeah. So you did mention about growth and obviously sort of future pacing yourself and knowing what it's going to be like, because if you don't change now, the future will still remain the same when you arrive at it. Um, what's next? What can we expect from the flying unicorn or the empowered mind? Oh, that's gonna stick. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do about that. I don't know of a Charlene. I know of the flying unicorn. So there we go. Any new exciting projects or collaborations in the horizons that you'd like to share with our audience?
I actually have just started a new collaboration with a yogi from Sri Lanka. And we've actually started last night. We ran our first session. It's on LinkedIn, and he shares it on Facebook and other socials as well. And we've actually started doing an hour where you come on and it's like it might be a meditation or a hypnosis, and then it's also a safe space for people to just turn up, and if they need to talk about things, we're there. Or if they need to, just for people to listen, we're there, and any questions or anything. So it's like a safe healing space just for people to turn up. If they just, if they've had a bad day, they can turn up and we're there. And like I said, it's like a warm cocoa, I guess, a cup of cocoa as well. So, yeah, so we started that last night and we're running it every Tuesday night from 8:30 or 7:30 to 8:30 on Tuesday nights, Australian Eastern time. But we have people from Malaysia and Sweden last night and everything. So it's a global thing. So yeah, and we're doing that. And I've also am launching, looking at doing travel coaching and hypnosis as well. So if people have seasickness or fear of flying, like that's totally, or like on-call coaching as well for people, staying in hotels or they can't sleep and things like that, like something that's not really offered out there. And yeah, so that's part of it as well. So I'm looking at expanding into there as well. So I just want to spread my spread my wings a little bit more. Yeah.
Like the flying unicorn you are,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely. This is some exciting projects that even I would want to be a part of. But I can't thank you enough, Charlene, for the time that we spent on the call today. I mean, your life story and your experience have so much value, and I think our audience have really grasped a thing or two that they would definitely be utilizing, as a tool to help them cope with whatever might come their way. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Prosper. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I've got so much gratitude and just blessings for you asking me on your podcast. Thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate you all the same. You did most of the talking. I was just fantastic. I mean, it's really clear that your work is the thing that you're working is making a profound impact on so many lives. The world is hurting at the moment, and if you're offering a healing space, that literally is, depending on what you subscribe to, but you're literally doing, the utmost work that can be done by any high power. So kudos to you and more strength to you, more power to you so that you continuously do this. Yeah. So
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. That's my goal, is to serve. So yeah.
Fantastic. And for our viewers, if you're feeling inspired and ready to break through your own barriers, don't hesitate to reach out to the flying unicorn herself. I mean, I'm going to put all the links in the show notes so you can connect with her and actually explore her coaching programs. Also, maybe just check her out on LinkedIn, which is where I caught up with Charlene there. And yeah, I'll also make sure that those links are in the show notes there. And don't forget the Tuesday healing sessions that they're running. online, they're welcome to everyone, right?
It's free and it's for anyone, and you can turn up for one session, you can turn up for as many as you want. It's just you can drop in and drop out. It's just a space for people to come and yeah, just to, experience a meditation from a yogi and or hypnosis from me. And then just the rest is just we do it very much by flow. So if someone needs that space held for them, we're there for them. So yeah,
I
it's
think it's one of those
yeah,
places where people just come in, obviously for the services, but they'll stick around for the community. Because if you're bringing
yeah.
in like-minded people from all walks of life, definitely you will find somebody that resonates with you there. So I think that is actually, yeah, definitely amazing. Now, like I said, I'll put in all those links in the show notes. And if you found this episode today insightful, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I mean, it is really good content that we're putting out there. And if you also have people in your life that are going through stuff, just share this video with them. You never know who you might, save today or serve, in the littlest way possible. You're already sharing memes that are depressing people. Why not share value that is actually putting people in a good light? And yeah, I can't thank you enough for tuning into the Online Prosperity Show. Until next time, keep striving for your own version of prosperity. Bye for now.